Good morning, everybody. My name is Bart Winkler, the esteemed Grant Bills, Paul Imig. Paul, do you kind of feel like the odd man out here since Pardon My Take doesn't know you exist?
It was great. I would much obviously rather you guys get but seriously, in the same week, you guys have both had, well, in the same month at least.
Well, Grant did something like historically great.
And
I just drunk tweeted from my kitchen and
you just went on X and then said a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Right.
On X.
I'm still very surprised at the response from my baseball. It was the jumps people took.
Mm-hmm.
It was, hey, I think this format's bad because they play all regular season, and then instead of getting rewarded, they almost get punished. And then people were like, "All right, just award the trophy to the highest spending team if you want." No. I mean, the Orioles exist. Also, that's not what I'm saying at all. So
you're like, I'm a Brewers fan. You guys actually don't get it. This has nothing to do with Marcus.
No, but that's not. See, but I don't think that's true. Yes, the Brewers aspect of it is part of it. But if the bottom line to your whole tweet rant would have just been the current playoff system disadvantages the top seeds, without all of the extra stuff, like that point would have resonated. That point is accurate. Like the probability.
What was the extra stuff? That I shit on the Diamondbacks?
Yeah, exactly. And just
they suck. People are like, oh, but the Diamondbacks got hot. When did they get hot? They didn't get hot until game 5 or game 3 of the NLDS is when I would then consider them getting hot.
Yeah.
Well, they lost like 5 of their last 6 going into the postseason.
To the White Sox.
Lame.
Yeah, they were not hot. They didn't get hot. They didn't. I mean, you win one game, then you win 2 in a row. Like they weren't even on a winning streak until they were in the NLDS. The point is that I was saying this to a friend over the weekend, but the probability of the top 5 regular season team records, the teams with the best 5 records, the probability of them going 1-14 in the playoffs has got to. I mean, I did not crunch the probability metrics. Less than 2% would have to be my guess. And if that happens, something is wrong. Like it's not about disproportionate. Like the fact is, the odds, the chances, the probability of the 5 best regular season teams going 1-14 is not. It is a statistical anomaly. Like it shouldn't ever. It's like the Packers losing the NFC Championship game in 2014 in the way that they did. Like it is not supposed to happen more than once a century in such a way. And the fact that it happened on this first year of this new playoff system is like something. Anyway, I'm sure people are sick of hearing you or anyone talk about it, but that it's a fact. It disproportionately disadvantages the higher ranked teams. It's almost like an indisputable fact.
Which is fine. Upsets are fine, but
not
why
1-14.
Play the regular season?
Well, that's the bummer. Like for people like us who watch like every Brewer game and like live and die with every stupid series they play in April and May and June, and like do post game shows for it and react to it daily on local sports talk. Like people better not wise up to the fact that 6 months of outstanding entertainment and interaction with our baseball team really isn't worth a damn, because if people wise up to that, the summer is going to be a boring time to be in sports talk for sure.
And before Bart had his, rant and his Barstool, or what was it? But pardon my take, appearance.
They said my name, Paul.
They used you. The post did to you the way that I take these topics from other folks. I mean, you provided the content, and you're accredited, which was
content is king, and we must remember that, Bart.
And they didn't like do any joke about my name or nothing. I was bracing for that.
So get this.
This guy's name is Bart Winkler.
A guy whose name is Bart Winkler had the gall to criticize anything. No, but before you had your rant, I already had like this question of like, this is how I phrased it. We won't ask it because we've exhausted this, or you have, but MLB will look at the way this postseason is playing out, and the league will and should make a change to it before the 2024 season begins. I had this question that we never obviously got to because of, like I said, but I would argue they will, they should, and I think they will. I think 1-14 is just too glaring of a record in the postseason for MLB to sit there and be like, and if people are like, oh, that's reactionary, that's overreactionary. And I'm not saying this is a good comparison because the NFL overreacted, but the was it Saints and what was the pass interference call in the playoffs?
The Rams.
Like, overreacting can be bad because you're like, oh, well, like, because then 2 years later, like, oh, well, never mind, we should not be able to litigate pass interference in replay. But I would argue this would be a fair reaction if they do, and I think they will, and I think they should change it. I don't know how. I don't have a better suggestion.
Shades of East-West in the NBA a couple of years ago, and we're like, we need to do away with conferences because the West is so much better than the East, and it's just ridiculous. And then you don't do anything for 2 years, and it's fine. So I'm also team not overreact, but I am team this format might kind of suck. I am, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just got a text.
I heard.
I noticed the Bart Winkler Show is no longer showing up on Apple Podcasts. Is this something you're doing on purpose? No, I'm not fucking doing that on purpose. What is going on?
You're boycotting Apple.
No, the thing about like when that happens, sometimes it doesn't show up on Spotify, or sometimes it doesn't show up on Apple. It's like people think that I just have a switch. Like I don't even know how it gets to those. I don't do that part. Part of me,
Tim,
I see it. I see it on here
on Apple.
Yeah, I just checked.
Yeah, I don't know.
Justin Garcia from the Bucks Radio Network joins Bart to take a look back at the debut of Giannis and Dame.
Yeah, that's gonna rule. I can't wait to listen to that on the way to work today.
So there is one thing that I told him that I meant to tell you guys, because I've told you about my grocery store etiquette and how it's been poor in the past.
Yeah, well, in Milwaukee, it's all those places it's animal behavior in all those grocery stores.
I had and again, sorry if you listened yesterday. I had 3 items. I went to the self-checkout right in front of the guy. I leave the store. My cart stops like like a force field because it detected a stolen item or something.
Where do you shop?
It's the Metro Market.
The cart literally. Yeah,
the wheel, like there's a mechanical thing in the wheels.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just going to pick my stuff up and leave. And the guy's like, I need to see your receipt. So then I gave it to him and I ripped it out from him. And he goes, damn. And I'm like, well, this is fucking bullshit. And then he's like, I didn't stop your cart. Well, I mean, still. And then my whole thing was, if you don't trust people to check out 3 items, pay for more people to fucking check out your items.
No, okay, so that's not where I was expecting your take to go. That's a good
valid.
I would still use the self checkout.
Yeah, I like checking out at my own pace. I don't like being beholden to someone else. I like put it in the bags the way I want to put it in there. I always bring my own bags. I always go very early in the morning because I detest being around other people in the grocery store. I hate the grocery store, period. I hate it way more when there are people in there. So I'm with you on self checkout.
Now I'll switch because I did a lot of this with Justin. I don't want to do it again, but I will.
We've hit baseball playoffs. We've hit a story from yesterday. What's next?
But a counter to this would be like, well, why don't you get your groceries delivered?
Mm.
And then for that, I would say I will never do that again.
Same.
That is a bridge too far.
I have never. It's been years since our household has gone in the grocery store. We just do the you order it online, you open up the trunk, put it in the trunk.
Awful.
That's you go. People tell me that sounds miserable.
No,
I would rather go into the store and suffer through that process than deal with whatever goes on in the weird.
You don't get to pick and choose the battles of life that you don't want to
agree.
But you do. But you do actually.
You shouldn't be able to.
But you can, and so I will.
The grocery store being miserable is a shared experience. This is, you know what? This is the same way. I was listening to Phase Zero, one of the few podcasts that I'll explore. It's a Marvel podcast.
I had a feeling.
Oh, R.I.P. Tony Stark, by the way, today.
Yeah, today's the date.
What?
October 17th, as we record, is the date that they beat Thanos.
Oh,
October 17th, 2023.
I don't think I ever.
So now we have caught up to.
All right. You should say spoiler alert for those who are not yet through Infinity War.
You're right. That was
Or the Endgame.
Tim can go back and switch this up.
But they had said like there's no communal. What he hates the streaming era because there's no communal gathering anymore. The only time we communally gather to watch something on TV is sports, and specifically NFL.
Well, this past weekend, people communally gathered in a movie theater to dance and sing together.
Right.
So it was a big topic on Milwaukee Sports Talk Radio the other day.
That was a community.
Maybe a little too much community going on in those theaters during the Taylor Swift. There's a lot of community.
Anyway, my whole point is,
go ahead.
Grocery store delivery is part of the breaking down of the fabric of society, and you are a culprit and should be.
It's not delivery. It's not delivery. It's putting it in your trunk. I still go and get it. We still go and get the groceries. We just have pre-thunk it out, and we know what we want.
How do you know what you want before you take the same?
Yeah, how do you know what avocado you want?
You need to take the path through the store to trip to. Yeah, that's right. I need that. That's right. I need that. You take the same path through the store.
Oh, that's on sale. Wow.
Being very well planned.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I suppose. You have a very specific list and everything. I can't put things on a list.
The delivery I do like, guys, is when I shop at happyplacehemp.com and get a 25% discount on all the products. So, but you can also, if you want to go to College Court and Muskego and shop around, you can look at all, they have it there. They have every product, and you can ask them about it. And you can say, how will this affect me? What will this do? How will this make me feel better? How will this make me go night-night? The CBD CBNs, they are the gummy of choice, especially when you have a crazy life like I do, never knowing when you're going to work, and never knowing what kind of sleep schedule you're going to be on. The Delta 8s and Delta 9s, very satisfying as well. Check them all out. HappyPlaceHemp.com. Promo code BART, 25% off every order. What's up, guys?
All right. Let's start on one that I have a very strong feeling about after this weekend of football. The vast majority of NFL quarterbacks are not very good, are replaceable, and are mostly interchangeable. And I'm going to go ahead and having seen some X's, tweets.
What's the sudden pivot to embracing the X?
What do you mean?
I don't know.
It's Twitter.
It's not at all to get under your skin. Yeah. Having seen those, I'm also going to add head coaches. The vast majority of NFL quarterbacks and head
those
coaches.
Are two separate conversations.
All right, you know what? I want to have the quarterback conversation first. And then if you want to blend in the coaches, that's something you can be interested about. I want to talk quarterbacks because there's very, 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 very few good ones who actually matter. And everyone else is pretty much, you could switch them on teams and it wouldn't really matter. They're just not good. They're interchangeable. They're replaceable. So I'm already going to say, what say you?
Well, and keep in mind this with the coaches topic and quarterbacks, there are only 32 of these jobs in the world, and we can't fill them.
And there's only like 7 good of each.
Yeah. So let's reevaluate my franchise quarterback tier, which is teams that are happy with their quarterback that would not trade for any of these other quarterbacks that I mentioned outside of Patrick Mahomes. So in that list, I would include Lamar Jackson. And some, I don't know.
Yeah,
but he is the Ravens are not trading him. They are very happy with him.
We don't need to debate this right now. I see your point.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, who should have gotten intercepted. Dude, that was my survivor pool.
That was close then.
I think I'm gonna go nuts to the guts with my survivor pick this week. The obvious one for me is Seahawks over Cardinals. But a 3 o'clock late games, I might take the Eagles at home on Sunday Night Football over Miami. No one else will take them
because everyone else is sane.
Well, yeah.
I like to create stress in my life.
That would be a good example of doing that.
That's my favorite thing about when you and Horvath do your pod is you just threatening to make every game your survivor pick, and then Horvath being like, no, and then you'd be like, no, and then you'll move on. All right.
What I got 2, Allen and Jackson.
Yeah.
Burrow. Trevor Lawrence, Mahomes is 5. Herbert is 6. I'm gonna throw Tua in there.
No, really?
Yeah.
Are you saying for like this season only?
No.
I still don't know if you would want to. You just don't know. There's such a wild card there with his health.
Well, Hurts was the 7, so I usually said those guys stopped at 7. If you want to be worried about Tua's health, he would be guys that could be on the path to being that guy. I would say Dak Prescott.
You've normally had Dak 8th, and I would do Tua over Dak.
But then Goff's got to be in there.
Yeah, but Goff, even though he's doing
Goff's good, people need to realize
he's doing a good job. He's also largely interchangeable with like 7 or 10 other dudes. Like, anyway, keep going.
But then it's a whole mess of Baker Mayfield's and then Ryan Tannehill's. And then if you look at guys that are like
are you sure if Baker Mayfield wasn't the Lions quarterback that it would be the same?
I don't know. But then who are guys that I think could be in that tier that teams are waiting on? Bryce Young, I guess, Justin Fields, CJ Stroud, Kenny Pickett.
Exactly.
Well, no, this is guys that are getting the opportunity to prove that.
Yeah. Jordan Love.
I guess Brock Purdy.
Jordan
and I guess our guy Jordan Love.
Yeah.
So really, like there's 7 or 8 teams that are. This is our guy, man. There's 7 or 8 teams that are in the process of finding if it's their guy. And then there's 16 teams that in a heartbeat would leave. I mean, Kirk Cousins can leave. Ryan Tannehill can leave. Daniel Jones can leave. But then you get like Matt Stafford for now. But yeah, I mean, overall, the quarterback play is not great. So I agree with that. I still think that the coaching is worse. Grant.
With coaching.
Grant, I want to hit both topics if you'd like, but I don't know how exhaustively the two of you, but also everyone listening, watched this NFL Week 6 without the Packers playing. It was just largely not good offensive football.
Well, the afternoon windows were brutal.
Like really.
Every game was like 20 to 17.
And then you followed it up with the Sunday night game, which was offensively challenged. Even Monday night's game, like Cowboys Chargers for a battle to 20, like first team to 20 wins, and it barely snuck itself there. Like, I don't know. I just saw a bunch of really bad offensive football.
So first of all, this is what happens when people are allowed to pick up their groceries whenever, and they don't have to struggle through it. As we watch a game between Tyrod Taylor and the Bills on Sunday night, and we think, oh, what a putrid, horrid game. I was thoroughly entertained. That game was much more.
I'm not saying it wasn't entertaining. I'm saying that it was offensively challenged. It was bad. It was bad offense. Offense was really bad.
I say good defense or
it wasn't
time game.
I don't think it was good defense largely. I think it was really bad offense.
Well, okay. Wait, this isn't what we're debating. So the quarterbacks, I agree. I just feel like with some of these mid-tier guys, we thought that maybe they were going to be something, and we're realizing maybe this year that they kind of are who they are. And I feel like Dak is in that group. And I'm a Dak guy. Like, I really like Dak relative to most people. But I think this year it's like, he's just kind of who he is. And there's some of these other kind of middle of the road quarterbacks. You're like, that's just kind of who he's going to be. But also, like, Burrow has not been as good this year, and I think he's naturally a slow starter, and I think the Bengals are, and he's banged up, of course.
Jalen Hurts hasn't been as good this year.
Jalen Hurts has regressed, and I was even listening to a little WIP yesterday because I was curious what they were saying about the Eagles. Like, the Packers didn't play, so I'm hitting station. Like, I'll listen to a little of the score, listen to IP, and they're like, Jalen Hurts, at the very least, if he wasn't hitting big throws and he wasn't being a great traditional pocket passer, would be a good decision maker. And on Sunday, that kind of went out the window. That went down the tubes against Cleveland. So he's
well, that's because Robert Saleh, all they do is embarrass quarterbacks.
We'll get to him when we talk about coaching. But Lamar, like, a lot of people thought MVP superhero season from Lamar, and he's been good, but he hasn't been like this explosive, fantasy football machine. So I just think there are a lot of quarterbacks that we maybe thought they would get to this level, or we expected something from them, and they just haven't been as good. Or like even Herbert. I really like Justin Herbert, but feel like every Chargers game is the same, where they're behind in the fourth quarter and then the offense goes out the window and it's 3rd and 12 every series, and Herbert's just throwing missiles all over the place.
But now that one definitely might go into Bart's category of there's only like 5 good coaches, and the Chargers might be on the leading edge of that group.
I mean, could we get one more shot of Kellen Moore from that game? What the hell?
Saleh's the worst. And I personally, I don't have anything against Robert Saleh, but he's always on camera, like NBC, or they just find him. Maybe it's because he's so expressive. I don't know. But if we're going to talk about coaches, Paul, and I said this on my show on Monday, like, if we were to draft NFL coaches, I would go first, you go second, you go third. Probably 3 of the first 4 or 3 of the first 5, if not the first 3, would be some combination of Shanahan, McVay, and Mike McDaniel in Miami. You're basically drafting an offensive system. You are picking a coach for their system right now. There are very few.
Well, let's ask the question. Paul, who would you rather have in a draft? Patrick Mahomes or Eric Spoelstra?
Ooh.
Mahomes.
But it's close, right?
Yeah. You did have to think.
It was not automatic.
Well, that's my point.
Okay, wait, quick. Coaches draft. Grant, you did this segment on Monday night, so did you kind of create a hierarchy?
Well, I didn't draft it. I'm just saying, like, if we were to pick the coach and you got to choose anyone, you would pick them for their system. You wouldn't pick them great decision maker, great leader. Like, we're kind of to the point where we're giving the best offensive coordinators head coaching jobs because we want their system. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the first.
I just think so. Yeah. Go ahead, do your little.
I'm just curious. The first pick is Shanahan, right?
No. I know Bart. What does he win? What does he do? What does he win?
He consistently, every year, practically, is one of the 4 final teams remaining.
That's correct.
Oh yeah.
So yes. I mean, that's definitely, if not one of the last 2. I mean, he is great. I would pick Mike McDaniel. I'd
pick maybe Andy Reid.
Like Mike McDaniel, he's like, it pushes my loyalty to not just say I'm a Dolphins fan.
Hey, question about Kyle.
You know what? All good coaches, the best coaches in every league, coach in Miami. Spo and McDaniel. And the Hurricanes guy who's really good at kneeling.
Fun fact about Kyle Shanahan. This season not excluded or included. He has as many winning seasons as a head coach as he does losing seasons. So
I'll tip my cap to Shanahan and that he can pick a defensive coordinator.
No. Don't ignore me.
Who's your first? What do you want? This is such a Bill Simmons. Would it be too much? I'd like to see him win something. I'd like to see, before I crown him and make him the best coach in the league, I'd like to see him win something, anything. Like, is that what we're doing with Shanahan?
No, 3 of the last 4 years, he has gotten to at least the NFC Championship game. So
yeah, and it's going to be harder for him to advance past there now that the Packers aren't going to be in there for them to beat every year. So it will get harder, but I think he'll still be going.
So I'm not looking at the list of coaches. Maybe Bart is. I would love to round out like the top 8. Andy Reid and Mike Tomlin are round out the top 5. Yes,
Tomlin.
I think he's been over.
I got a list of coaches. I'll tell you who's good.
I think the Steelers have been over 500 every year.
Yeah, Tomlin's in there. John Harbaugh can be in there.
Harbaugh should be in there. Yep.
I might.
Vrabel.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I like Vrabel. And he's more of like Grant. He's more of like you're not drafting Mike Vrabel for the system. You're drafting Mike Vrabel for just like. Oh, by the way, we have to put. Why is his name slipping my mind? Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell is absolutely in that top 8 somewhere.
I just think that the jig is up on these coaches.
That's another culture guy though, Grant. Dan Campbell, Mike Tomlin.
Vrabel.
Those aren't Vrabel. Thank you. Like those aren't system guys. Those are culture, mood, vibe guys.
Another one, Pete Carroll. I think Pete Carroll.
I think yeah. Mm-hmm.
So where I think a lot of this, like when I first noticed that football coaches are what I have called them as the dumbest subsection of humanity, like goes back to high school. Okay, because these people were revered as gods. Like high school football coaches were revered as gods. And first of all, I'm thinking, well, if you're so smart at football, why did you top out at St. Mary Springs? Like, if you're so smart at football, why is WIAA Division 6 as far as your knowledge will take you? And we look at these guys, and it's like, no. They are now for Coach Janis at UWL. That's a guy who loves Division 3 football.
Well,
he loves WIAC football. Okay. And I had a voicemail here from Dan that I was going to play. Carl's Plays voicemail. He wanted you to hear it. But I'm just going to keep moving. No offense to Dan. I just think it would kill I'm in a flow right now. But I do want you to know that Dan had a voicemail for you. I can send it to you. It was about UWL. He's very hyped that maybe I'll play it there. Dan, sorry. I've been saving it for 2 weeks. I forgot last week. Now I'm so far out of the flow, I might as well just play it. But anyway. Carl's Place, carlvt.com/Bart. No, I did forget what I was saying.
Well, Matt, Janis is.
If coaches were so smart and that this Division 6 is the highest they can take,
they put themselves. I noticed these cultures where it's like they take on a role of no. I'm the dad. I'm the male authority figure in your life, and some kids need that, and that's fine, and some kids don't. And then it's like, well, what the fuck is this guy saying? And then these coaches also think, how dare you question him? He at any level, I'm talking any level, he knows more. And I've said this, he knows more football on his pinky than you'll ever. What that doesn't mean, it doesn't make sense. He's forgotten more than you ever know. And while these guys are like, yes, you have a thing that you're studying, and you know it, and you're very good at it. And like, their knowledge is there. I've got more knowledge about how radio works than the common man.
Marvel.
Well, no, this is the real thing I want to say, because this is actually going somewhere. I've got more knowledge about how radio works. I just know how it works. Okay. I know when to get in, when to get out, breaks. I know my brain knows it.
You run a tight
some
board.
Of these guys, their brains might know it too. They just understand football. But then, just because I know how it works doesn't mean the implementation of it doesn't mean that I'm going to implement it better than you, or that because I know how radio works. But then there's people that come along that haven't been through radio for 30 years, and they can do a podcast, and they found something and it's brilliant, and they're out there. And it's available to everyone. What I'm saying with coaches is they still think that their knowledge and information is so secretive and native to them, when we're a generation growing up on Madden. We can see when someone does something bad with the clock. We can see, like, when people get criticized, oh, you don't know the play, and you don't know maybe we don't know your exact play and what you were going to audible to, but there's enough information out there that we can kind of figure, there more people know football than just the people that coach. And the people that coach have been hanging on to this forever, that we're the only ones that get football on this higher level, when I don't think that's true anymore. And now I don't think the best and brightest are even the ones that you listen to on the radio. I mean, the ones that are coaching. So that's where I think I still think that the world is caught up to knowing the information that they know, they still think that they've like unlocked this, like only I can coach.
Was the world better and was sports fandom better before every Tom, Dick, and Harry watched the All 22 every week, just casually?
Well, everything was better. I don't want to say before the internet,
but you can say it.
Well, no, I want to get back to
before social
where
media.
we should have stopped was I want to be able to go online and find out how to get somewhere, but I want to be able to print. I need to print those directions.
MapQuest it.
I don't want, like, if there's a traffic jam, I shouldn't know that.
Disagree.
But it's weird. Don't you ever think, boy, it's pretty fucked up how they know that? Do you ever think that?
No.
Like, I can just look at a map right now and know exactly where traffic is. That's fucked up.
It is strange. It's also very beneficial.
Well, sure, but I think like there are a lot of pros to the internet. We're doing this. I'm connecting with my two good buddies.
There is that.
Yeah.
I just feel like casual Packers fans sit down in a bar to discuss the game. It's like, oh, wild game today. Like, at no point should those two people be like, well, I'll have to watch the All 22 when it comes out on Tuesday. But I don't know what that play was. It's like, no, I liked sports fandom before we all did that.
Nah,
breaking down film.
I might need to work through my feelings on that, Grant.
Hey, they call it social media. They should call it unsocial media.
But
who just said that and got made fun of?
As Jeff Garland said in season 11. But
No, I was watching a guy on the Daily Show. They had a guy on the Daily Show, and they were asking about world events. And the guy's like, well, how can I help? And the guest was like, get off the internet. One way you can help is get off the internet. Because what social media does is we have aggregated feeds to make us angry. I don't know.
So
I don't know what my point is exactly, other than football coach is bad.
I know.
Yeah,
that,
there's so many things we could go on here, but you go, Grant.
Well, Facebook is designed to make us angry. I didn't know X was that way. When did that become a thing?
It definitely, like, if you can cultivate your own For You section.
Yeah, but I just go to following. I just swoop over. I never do the For You.
I'm just saying, like, that would, if we were to build off of Bart's point, it would be like.
Oh, if you're gonna keep calling it X, I have noticed now, in articles and stuff, they were saying X, formerly known as Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
They have dropped the formerly known as.
Oh, really?
A lot of outlets are putting, and this was posted to the social media platform X.
Mm. I would have preferred it be called X to the Z.
Even if it was Twitter X.
That's for all my exhibit fans.
Yeah,
just an X to the Z exhibit.
All right. Anyway, my whole answer to this is coaches are bad, quarterbacks are worse.
Well, I think there are more good coaches, though, more non-interchangeable coaches than there are interchangeable quarterbacks. Because I was just thinking, we didn't.
How do you explain we
didn't even mention Mike McCarthy yet, and we got through at least 10 or 11.
We didn't mention Belichick.
I mean, and I know he's like having a horrific year, and he's probably done.
Brady's gone.
But you still, I mean, his legacy would be better had he.
But we always go who made who, the quarterback or the coach, and then the quarterback leaves, and then the coach sucks.
But either way, if you have that many titles, your legacy is under almost zero scrutiny, or it should be under zero. But the point, I think there's 7 or 8, depending on your thoughts on Tua, non-replaceable, non-interchangeable quarterbacks. And I think there's at least, we've gotten to like 11 or 12 good like you wouldn't just drop that coach tomorrow to have a chance at a better one. There are more good coaches than there are quarterbacks, but there's a lack of quality of both. I think it's fair to say.
Well, we have children coaching NFL teams like Brian Dable and Robert Saleh and Matt LaFleur to a degree, although he acquitted himself very nicely.
What does one mean by children?
Well, you got Brian Dable like throwing his headset on the sideline, and like
Bill Belichick did that this weekend also.
There's a lot of like performative childish behavior from coaches.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it a coincidence though that those you have to name Dable and Saleh and they're both the New York coaches? Is that a coincidence?
Yes.
Meaning like the media scrutiny, the media pressure, the fan pressure, the fan scrutiny.
Well, they're on prime time.
Or is that the cause to the effect of coaches who are losing their minds?
Well, it's a nature versus nurture type debate. I just think that Dable acts like a jack off on the sideline, and it's like, dude, like we realize you're playing Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor. You don't need to remind us with all of this
Fire.
It's like, we get it. Your quarterback's not great. Like, we understand what's going on here. It's like everything he does on the sideline is to say, this is not my fault. This is the fault of my quarterback or my coordinator. I'm now going to cuss this person out. I'm not going to give Melissa Stark, who's a tremendous at her job, Bart. I remember discussing when she returned to TV, but we were very pro that. I think she's been good. But Brian Dable was like, oh, my face is so red. I can't even think right now. I'm so angry. It's like, well, come on. And then Robert Saleh saying you embarrassed quarterbacks. You're 3-3, and your head coaching record is under 500. Speaking of like winning records and needing to win something, you mentioned it with Shanahan. Like, I don't know, not a Saleh guy, not a Dable guy. Don't want him as my head coach. They're not adults. I need an adult in the room. Those guys are not adults.
Well, okay. How much more adult is LaFleur then? Because another thing that children are known for is getting sad. And just kind of being. I mean, is LaFleur the adult in the room? It's different than Dable and Saleh, but are we sure LaFleur is the adult?
Well, is this the right way to make a coach? Is the right way to have a coordinator and then turn him a coach, or should we be looking at guys that are already coaches? Like in the NFL, so many people get promoted to being a coach, and it's their first time as a head coach. But LaFleur doesn't know how to be a head coach. He is doing what he thinks he's role playing a head coach.
You're explaining though why you hired Joe Barry. Well, at least he's done it before. At least he's been a defensive coordinator twice.
No, well, no, not like that. But I'm talking about other levels.
Well, I'm just
like my dad coached high school for a long time, and I'm like, why don't you coach high school or college soccer? He goes, I can't. I go, why? Because I'm in high school. They look at me different. I go, but you're a head coach. No, I'm not in college.
I would say, though, the only way that you end up having, I think, what we just considered the best three coaches in the league, in some order, Shanahan, McDaniel, and McVay.
I thought you meant Emick, Bills, and Grant, or Winkler. Jesus.
You just excluded yourself. The only way you wind up with Shanahan, McVay, and McDaniel, though, is by doing the thing that you're saying not to do, which is hire the young offensive mind genius guy. So I mean, yeah.
You can be young. You can be a young offensive genius, but you've got to be able to be a coach.
But it's also though how Sean Payton went from being like to have this he's a top 5 coach when he becomes the Broncos head coach, because look at what he did in New Orleans. The dude had 4 under 500 seasons in a row, and then was gone for a few years, and he's a top 5 coach. So I actually completely disagree with your premise. Just but Sean Payton. Fuck Sean Payton. This is what you get. Payton. No, but I'm saying, he's the guy that's done it before. He's been a head coach for a decade.
No, I didn't say. I was talking more about why is there a thumbs up on the Dan Schani video?
Because you did it
the other day. Fireworks went off, and when I was talking to someone, hearts appeared.
Wow.
StreamYard's got this feature, and I can't control it, but shit happens. I know. I'm not saying get the retreads. I'm saying
you're saying get the retreads, but go
no,
ahead.
I'm saying promote who was in college, Lance Leipold. He was at Whitewater, then Buffalo, now Kansas.
Is this a dumb question? Would Lance Leipold want to coach the NFL? Is that duh? Of course he would. Would your average good college coach want to be? Because you're no longer the power in the room necessarily, because you don't make as much money as your players. In college, you are the guy. Well, I know there's NIL money and stuff, but for the most part at Kansas, it's not you're questioned as the authority. In the NFL, you're questioned if you're the authority because you're not as prestigious as at least your top 5 to 10 players.
I want to get off coaching entirely, but I do want to pour one out to Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. Got very into that team, and then they lost to Stanford. So, What do you have next?
All right. I want you to understand that this is more a question of thinking of the Packers roster deficiencies. I don't want you to think of this as what it may sound like, which is a let's fast forward to the NFL draft. Not what I'm doing. What I'm curious of biggest Packers roster deficiencies and where you might need the best influx of young talent at those positions. The Packers right now would have the 10th pick. All things being equal on draft boards. The position you think they need the best high upside type of player to bring into that system, it needs to be an offensive tackle. Or mm-mm.
We need to draft an offensive tackle?
High. Like that should be, like if you, again, the draft boards being equal, you could, let's say the draft was tomorrow, you get to plug in a young guy. They're going to start in week 7 next Sunday. If you could right now take the 10th best college football player, and that college football player was an offensive tackle, and they're going to start for you in week 7 in Denver, offensive tackle would be the answer. Yes? Or mm-mm.
I'll go
or
first if Bart needs to collect his thoughts. I'll be brief. Because I know they can get one later. That's worked better for them. It's like when I put together my show rundown, I have my opening topic, and then I come to my second segment, which is 420. I don't fill that up because I know Cone Roller is going to call. Maybe I'll give myself 1 or 2 little bullet points, but I know.
No, you can't bank on callers.
Oh, but you can. I know Radio Joe told me long ago you can't bank on callers. Oh, yes, you can. You can. You absolutely can.
How about a day if Cone's phone is dead, or if he's got caught up in a meeting, or
someone else will slide in and take his place. I'm getting called. The second segment, it's 4 calls. Now I'm going to write myself a bullet pointer there. It's something to say in between the calls. A topic that kind of hangs above.
All right, it's your show. I won't judge.
I know it's bad form to rely on calls. And this is what I'm saying, though.
I do it every weekend on CBS, and then I get hours where nobody calls, and I'm just reading the fucking MLB standings.
You were good on Sunday, by the way.
I thought that was one of my worst.
A station on Superior. Me and a buddy were leaving, and we just needed NFL scores. Turned on an AM station at 5, and I heard the Ion football music. It was great. Packers don't need a tackle in the first round. They're going to draft some knob from Tennessee Tech in the 3rd, and he's going to be an all-pro by the end of his 2nd year because that's what they do. So, no, they'll draft a corner or an edge rusher, and it'll take him 6 years.
I'm not saying what they take the question differently. Like, I hear you, but like the most talent deficient needing of young influx.
So we needed a guy right now.
Also, no. I like their young
a guy who's a rookie. So you're going to still go through some, even if the player is very good, you're still going to go through ups and downs because it's a rookie. But what position would you plug that person in at?
Corner.
Really? Even though you're getting Stokes back?
Stokes is back. Yeah. 2 hour on that today.
Might be out on Stokes.
He
hasn't played football in a year.
I know.
I don't know. To me, you start bringing up like what the Packers need, and it's like, what leaking hole on the boat do I fill first?
Yeah, that is the question.
That's mighty to feel. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's
what?
the case.
This team's terrible.
It's because there's.
I mean, there's a handful of leaky. Yeah,
I think they're leaky at safety. They need some young players there. I think.
But don't draft, please. After Savage and Clinton Dix, please don't draft.
I saw a tweet that's sticking with me where it says, "When you have a team this young, it is imperative that you have great coaches." We don't have good coaches.
Certainly don't have great coaches. I don't know about good, but not great.
No, I don't. You make it sound like they're bereft of talent everywhere. I think they have nice young talent on the D line. On the
yes, they do.
line. Now,
here's a question: Who would you rather have as coach for 2024?
For 2024?
Yeah,
this is going to be dumb. Whatever it is,
Matt LaFleur or Aaron Rodgers.
What? It was dumber than I even thought it would be. I thought you were going to say like Luke Fickell or something.
Luke Fickell. I love that. I love that so many people are out on Fickell. It's like, first of all, the Badgers suck. I mean,
yeah, they don't know what they are, what they're doing. But
the Tom Oates, I'm a Tom Oates fan, but the Tom Oates bit
What is Oatsy doing?
He always says oops.
I don't follow. Should I follow Oatsy?
So when they like lost a offensive line guy that Chris was recruiting, and then Fickle didn't, and then he went to one of the Michigans, he tweeted oops, and now he always tweets oops when they do something, and then they lost this game to Iowa, and he tweets oops.
He X'd.
Yeah, he Z'd or whatever, and it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
when I don't know what this is, but when I retire, I'm gonna retire.
You're gonna disappear?
Bet.
Yeah, bet. That's a great. Nah. I didn't even believe it when I said it.
You're gonna be like Dan Needles. You're gonna be worse when you're retired.
That's why Dan Needles bothers me so much, because I see my future.
Well, that's the thing. If you're gonna tweet all the time, don't put retired in your bio. Just say, well, I guess whatever.
Hey Grant, will this be a surprise to you? I can't determine, because like we've gotten to know each other, but not like we don't like have great history with you. We don't. It's not been a long relationship.
That's because you're so private, Paul. You won't tell me anything other than you get your groceries picked up at the front of the store.
Yeah, I'm surprised you revealed that.
That's a big one for me. Would it surprise you to know?
I'm surprised you revealed to the people that you eat food for substance.
I'm not even going to say it now. I'm going to withhold.
No, say it. We're curious.
Come on.
It's surprising or not surprising? The goal will be like retire and live on a farm with animals in like very private, nothing acres. And yes, this is what I want to do. Yeah. Is that surprising or unsurprising?
Why with animals? Why don't you just retire?
No, I need goats. I need some donkeys. I need like outdoor cats.
I don't think you have what it takes as someone who grew up in a farming community. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like. The animals will not be there to,
No.
If there were cows, it would be like,
you can't be coming to us with a background of bobbleheads and Pez dispensers and say you want to be one with the goat.
I'm already one with the goat. So some cute little pygmy goats running around in your,
Pygmy goats they're a cool critter. Don't get me wrong. You strike me as a arcade style gaming, listening to your old iPod in the basement type, not I need to go out and milk the cows on my hobby.
I don't want to like milk. There's no cows to be milked. We're not out here. We're not here to like create, Yeah. Anyway, it's more for just like the solitude of it all.
What are you going to leave your family behind?
No, they're going to come to the farm.
Oh, okay.
Also, I have an arcade like in my basement right over there.
I think I've seen pictures or something, one or another. I don't know. It's a picture.
The arcade would come too, because everyone's wanting to get away from the animals and go to an arcade.
I want to retire and just. My buddy was telling me that, like, his dad is older, and you never know. And then he like blew out his Achilles, and so he's like, even more. He's got to be just like sedentary on the couch, and all he can really do is be old and watch TV and sports. And I'm like,
all he can really do is be old.
I'm like, that's kind of what when my grandpa was in his waning years, he just sat on the chair, read a newspaper, watched TV, and that was it. Like, that's what I want.
That's what you want?
That's the ideal.
That's kind of what I do.
I was going to say, you don't get enough of that now?
I would like to, in my retirement years, travel more, but I don't need adventure. Like, I want to enjoy different hotel balconies.
I love just being able to say I was at a place
I like being at a hotel. I we went to Mexico for, maybe it was our honeymoon, but we went to Mexico, and then the thing I remember the most is just, I like being in the room, enjoying a hotel space, going out to the balcony, and overseeing the ocean.
We could.
I don't need to go in the ocean. I don't need to go explore the monuments.
God, this is a great take. Keep going.
What is wrong with you both? What do you mean?
No,
you don't want to go out and see
the
things?
visual.
If I go to, I would love to stay in like Vail, Colorado, and open my window and see all the beautiful snow and the snow caps in the mountains. I ain't putting on a fucking Pair of skis.
Oh my! This is yes. It's about seeing the nature.
Yes, not being the nature.
You don't need to be one with it. You just want to observe it with your eyes and take
you just wanted to raise a whole fucking family of chickens. So I don't know what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah. Grant, any thoughts on your retirement?
No, I would like to own a home when I retire. That would be cool.
Not being part of the gen you are.
And by own, I don't mean fully own. I would like to be in a position where I could pay a mortgage. I don't need to. I'm never lighting a deed on fire in my fireplace, or not the deed, but the mark. I'm never doing that in my life. That's not something.
Is it called
the title? Or no, you wouldn't burn the title. I only know it because everybody loves Raymond. Frank and Marie paid off their house, and then they invited everyone over, and they burned the thing in the fireplace.
When I paid off my college loans, I thought there'd be some sort of like euphoric moment in my head. It's like then nothing happened.
No,
that's because you're back to square one. You're back to sea level now.
Oh, I thought you meant like in my career. I'm like an intern again.
Well, no, that too. But in our career field, there's like some degrees you get out of and you get placed in a prestigious job, and you start, by making more than poverty money right away. But not in our field. We do it for the passion. We do it because we love it, and the job is its own reward. I could do my job and not get paid. That's how much I love it.
Don't ever say that out loud, much less think that. Please.
Were you guys like offended when McAfee was talking about how much he paid Rodgers? Then you guys are like, oh shit, Bart doesn't give me anything.
Yeah.
No, I was not like that.
Do you want to talk about vaccines on here? We could ratchet it up a little bit.
No, but Travis Kelce.
No, I don't. But
now he's in commercials for things I don't even know what they are.
That's the power of Taylor Swift, baby.
Experian?
I don't know what that is.
He's in a nut. Like, now I can't tell what. Isn't the whole point of having a spokesman to be like, imagine if Flo all of a sudden was just talking about Hardee's. Like, when I see Travis Kelce, I'm supposed to be like, okay, either Pfizer or, okay, Bud Light.
Don't. What? He's supposed to represent Pfizer and only Pfizer. Like, no.
No, but isn't the more. I don't know. All I'm saying is at omahasteaks.com, you can use the promo code BART to backtrack in what you're trying to say and then realize you're also kind of also trying to do that. The promo code BART, just type it in the search bar and you'll get. I got to be honest. I have failed in that. I don't talk about them enough. I just assume you guys know.
And we do, but it's always nice to be reminded.
Well, because I don't even know what package I'm offering right now.
Something with apple tartlets, I hope.
I fucking hope so too. Those are the best. I am offering the All American Assortment, which is normally $285, but when you type in Bart at the top, it takes you to this page. It's $129. Oh. You're saving 55%. Filet mignons, chicken breasts, pork chops, burgers, jumbo franks, Omaha steak seasoning, free shipping. For a slight upgrade, they'll throw in a bunch of meatballs, scallop potatoes, and those caramel apple tartlets. This is a great gift for Christmas. This is a great gift for, like, honestly, why not do it for Halloween?
For what?
Halloween. When kids come to the door, give a tartlet.
A ribeye?
Give a ribeye.
a vacuum sealed ribeye.
Come on in.
Do you have a guest?
Sorta.
No, that's not a bizarre way to answer that question at all.
Come on in. Trick or treat. Here you go. Here's a gourmet. You know what sucks? My neighborhood, my street doesn't get a lot of trick or treat action. So sometimes we'll put a bucket out, like take one, assuming that kids are going to take 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
But then every year there's one family that takes the whole fucking bucket. Now, I'm not saying like dumps the bucket out into their bag. They take the bucket.
Wow.
So it ruined it for everyone else. Yeah.
Wow. Now you're that family on the block.
You want a Three Musketeers? You're gonna have to go down to. You can go down to the Petersons. I ain't giving you one.
Funny. I was the only child on my road. I grew up on a rural dead end road. We were the only children, so we'd get all the candy at every house because they'd buy a bag and they'd be like, "Well, we thought others might come, but it looks like you're the only ones again." Here's it was the whole bag. It was my childhood.
How many kids were in like your class typically? Your graduating class?
Well, my graduating class in high school was 250, but my elementary school class, where that was my more Halloweeny age, I had 13 because I went to a very small Catholic school.
Mm.
Now, Shorewood trick-or-treating is during a Packer game.
Ugh.
That's a good design. Well done, Shorewood. Nice.
So I will be trick-or-treating like this.
Oh, come on. You don't want to... I always hear parents say that going trick-or-treating with one of their kids is one of the things you just can't miss. Like, it's just one of those...
And I missed it last year. I went to Buffalo. I missed it.
I know.
And now you're going to sit there with a phone in front of you?
For example, I had a wedding on Saturday during the Badger game, and there was a group of people that were huddled in the corner of the garage, outdoor wedding, a whole nother conversation. And they were just, the wedding was passing them by. The marriage of these two wonderful people, this unique day, I just can't imagine being huddled. And I love sports as much as the next guy. I can't imagine being huddled, tuning everything else out, watching Wisconsin lose to Iowa in that type of game.
I've had watching sports at a wedding is awful. And so when we got married on New Year's Eve, I was worried the Badgers were going to have a bowl game that night. Thankfully, they didn't. But we had no TVs because there would have been some shitty bowl game that people would have like gotten in. And this was before the college football playoff. We never have. Like you have to be cognizant
to mean something.
You have to be cognizant when you're getting married. Like, what day is it? What possible sport there could be? My buddy got married, and there was a group of people from St. Louis, and they were in the World Series, and so they like wanted to see. That was unplanned. That's the World Series.
Yeah.
You know, if you have sports on at a wedding, that will take away people. That is so no TVs. But yeah, to sacrifice that for Wisconsin, Iowa, it's like. It's not the college football playoff here. It's Wisconsin, Iowa.
They had a band, and it's like, come on a little bit. You know, let's grow up. Why do I
like in July? You're missing because the Brewers play the Dodgers on a Saturday night.
Yeah. Oh God, I miss Brewers. I miss Brewers regular season. I'll say it. I miss the regular season. I miss having a bunch of games every day that really don't mean all that much. I just miss it.
All right, you got one more.
This is one I've had since the Damian Lillard trade. I think this one is fascinating. And I don't know this. Let me try this one for you. The Bucks just won the title. Giannis and Dame were both very good in the finals. The first on-court interview for the TV broadcast is with Damian Lillard. Who's basically the question is, who's the story? Who's the immediate story?
Yeah, no shit.
What a question.
This was like my second thought after the Lillard trade. Was like,
you're insane.
I was just thinking, who's the story? What's the story?
Oh my God.
Yeah. I even tested this one a few weeks ago, and it got a very positive response amongst the friend group. And you guys,
this is like, because obviously if Dame is 50 or
if Dame is Dame winning a title, is that the lead?
But if they play equal, where there's no obvious like,
right.
Oh shit,
right? They split the Finals MVP vote, you know, whatever. Like they were both very good.
I feel so. God, so now let's put myself in this position. I'm the broadcast truck.
Mm-hmm.
I love this.
I think I say, who's their reporter? Who's the side? Malika? Does she do the finals?
Yeah, that sounds right.
because she does the show. I think I tell her to go get Dame.
I'm on Dame. Grant.
Well, I'm on Dame just because Giannis is so darn hard to understand. I don't want to alienate all my rural audience members. I'm kidding. No, I'd probably go.
What was that take?
I'd probably go Dame. This is his first one. New in town, a little bit of the not the savior complex, but
So when does the gap, like if it's the NBA Finals and Giannis has 35 and 10 and Dame goes 3 for 10?
This is such a ridiculous question.
Is it though?
Do they win it home or on the road?
You want to talk about entitled town? All of a sudden, we're Bucks fans asking which of our superstars we're going to interview first after the NBA Finals. How did we get here?
Well, okay, that part I might agree with, but let's face it, they're going to win a title. And you know what? It's very
Bart. Did you think that?
What?
They're just going to win a title?
Mm-hmm.
So
I wish, I hope.
I don't know if it's this season, but the Dame Giannis duo will win a title.
I gave you $1,000 and it's even money on they win a title the next 3 years, or you can bet they don't, and you can bet the field you will take the Bucks.
I get 3 seasons?
Yeah.
I'll take they win a title.
Wow. That makes me feel better. Makes you feel good.
Yeah. And I'm further emboldened by that take in a way that I'm surprised that I am. It's very Bart, which is like getting angry at national media narrative. But I found myself doing that in this Dame thing where I just heard the low post. Great. Zach Lowe is awesome. But he had on a guy whose opinions I just very rarely agree with, which is Tim Bontemps from ESPN, who's on the Brian Windhorst podcast. And it was just basically like why the Celtics are the clear-cut East and Finals favorite to win it all. And I was like, all right. Now I'm pissed for no particular reason, but it really bothered me. And I became further like, well, you know what? Not only are they going to win a title with Giannis and Dame, I'm going to start thinking about who's the first interview. All right. One other Bucks question for you.
Wait, so to go back to my Apple podcast thing.
Sure.
If you're on Apple, you should type in either you got to do the Bart Winkler Show. If you just do Bart Winkler Show, it's going to take you to me with the fan. And for some reason, everything that Sparky creates is getting clicked on the Bart Winkler Show Odyssey.
It feeds me that on Apple Podcasts, yeah.
So unsubscribe. Why is it doing this?
So you're like your feed will shoot me green and growing.
Yeah, it says, and then this isn't even Sparky. From In the Huddle, Jordan Love ain't it. Carl and Jason wonder what the hell's going on in New England and what we've seen from Jordan Love so far. I have to investigate this. Then again, I'm also in trouble for breaking a chair at the fan studios. So,
yeah.
The chair I broke is a bit. It actually broke, and
you broke it as a bit during your show.
Yeah, Sunday night
during your live stream.
Because I used to throw a chair all the time, and it was funny audio, and this time, and I can't lie because there's video of me doing it. So
you were like that show is on video.
Sunday night, I did a show from
the Dan Schani YouTube stream.
On the Dan Schani YouTube.
The same YouTube stream we're on right now, Paul.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to get in one more Bucks question.
Okay.
The Bucks' fifth starter / maybe closer, finisher. Obviously, you have your core four. When I wrote the question, I was very high on the Marjan train about 2 weeks ago. That has since sailed. It will most likely be Malik Beasley. Or mm-mm. Or maybe should be Malik Beasley. Where are you guys at with who starts and finishes with the Bucks?
I'm part of the Connaughton crew. I believe in him. After what he did on the title run, I trust him. I don't think he's going to get scared in big spots. I think it's Pat by the end of the year. May not start, but I think he's going to close a lot. And I think it'll be Pat.
Yeah, I don't give a shit at all about who the other guy is. I really don't. I think that going into the season, this is kind of the mystery is who's going to be the fifth guy. And that's something that we can figure out. We've got 82 games to figure that out. I don't care who starts like opening night. If it's Malik Beasley or Marjan, we're like having these discussions. I don't care. I think that they should all get the four is going to play. And then throughout the season, you're going to see another guy with them. You would think at random times. And sometimes it's Pat, sometimes it's Marjan, sometimes it's Malik Beasley. It seems like it will be a guy who can, like, it seems like it'll be who the best. That guy almost feels like you need to defend the other team's best guy, doesn't it?
I like the idea of just 3 weeks of Beasley, 3 weeks of Connaughton, 3 weeks of Beauchamp, 3 weeks of Crowder.
So what do you need? I like that idea too, and I hope they figure out like how it meshes together. Like, what is your death lineup? We don't know.
Right.
Who's that fifth guy?
Yeah,
but I would say find a guy that is gonna whatever. You don't need anyone to. That guy doesn't need to score.
Right. Well, you need him to be able to stretch the floor and create, what's the word, Grant? Gravity.
Oh, I suppose he need to create a little bit of gravity, but
it's working.
You know, it'd be nice if they could have Drew as that five.
Drew is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Well,
definitely better than Damian Lillard.
If the Bucks traded for Drew and then Malik Beasley ended up on the Celtics, people would still take the Celtics. The problem with the Bucks, and this is what I told Justin Garcia, the problem with the Bucks is they made a trade that made them the best team in the league, but it didn't make them the most perfect basketball team ever, and they're getting penalized for that.
Drew Holiday doesn't make the Celtics the most perfect basketball team ever.
But they also have Boston on their chest, which matters for some reason.
Yeah.
They have the iconic green, whatever shade of green. Celtic, is it literally called Celtics green, right?
Celtic green.
Well, sure.
Celtic, yeah.
Matt in the Falls. Shout out Matt in the Falls. I thought it's kind of I loved when Matt the other night came on and said he was out in downtown Milwaukee trying to spend as little money as possible. I got a kick out of that. I really did.
Bart, do we want to quick recruit any NBA nerds, or should we do that offline?
Well, what are we trying to do? We're trying to do an NBA draft.
An NBA draft. We're gonna all get a team. You get like $100 million of salary cap space to build your.
We've done this before.
We did this like 3 years ago on the radio. I do it every year with
fantasy sports.
No, it's for entertainment purposes only. It's not even through like an app, but each team has to fill out an 8-man roster. You have $100 million to spend in 2023 salary cap. So, like for example, Wembanyama only is $10 or $11 million, right? Whereas Giannis is 45 or whatever his number is. So you can partition your dollars however you want. You just have to try to build the best roster. And then what I've done in years past is I have then sent those rosters to some impartial judges, Frank Madden, Eric Name, Jim Ozarski, and they have they have determined our winners. But we need at least 5 total. So we need a couple. I would rather get like 6, 7, 8 guys. But if anyone's listening still, and you want to join this draft, Bart,
never do that. Don't ever say that.
This is at the hour plus mark. This is
but
why you
still. If anyone's listening still, that means they would probably be the most likely to do this.
Oh, even better. So then we get the hardcores. So I don't want to have Bart cop out on doing this. So like reach out to us. I want to do this. I don't want it to be Bart's
so
like,
we're looking for people to do a podcast draft with us.
A podcast NBA draft with us.
Next week during an evening.
Yes.
Okay. On the Dan Schani YouTube stream?
It will be taped live.
Okay.
Or we could, I don't know. Well, I don't matter. But I don't know when I do CBS next week yet. So
if you do end up joining, like just start thinking like ranking your guys, but just know like whoever you draft, you get that salary slot. So it's more about like your value plays and how you can best construct an 8-man roster with that $100 million. All right, that was my plug.
Maybe I'll try to find the old one we did and throw it out there.
Yes. I know Heffelfinger took 3rd, and I think the winner was
I thought I won.
No. Gosh, I can't think of his name. Our Detroit friend.
Plucker.
Yeah, Plucker won.
Mr. Dan Plucker, married man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's
all right, boys. Anything else?
That's it.
Is it bouquet or bouquet? I don't know the answer to this one.
I have a bouquet of flowers.
Bouquet.
It's probably bouquet.
Like boo thing.
I don't know this one. I don't know how to answer this one. This is not right or wrong.
Bouquet. But we say bouquet.
Bouquet. All right, goodbye.
Oh, Craig.
If anyone's still listening, hit him with the Craig.
Craig.
Craig, is everyone still listening?